My name is Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read all my writing, go to counterpropaganda.com. To support this YouTube channel, go to my Patreon link below. This is going to be a response to Bill Maher in his debate against Cornel, in his debate with Cornel West in a recent real-time segment. Very, very simple. To all the Bill Maher fans or to Bill Maher himself, I respect Bill Maher, great comedian, one of the best comedians of this generation, great political commentator. He doesn't understand a couple of things about what took place. Number one, it's not about the lesser of two evils. It is about what you're willing to vote for and what you're not willing to vote for. Bill Maher would not vote for a pro-life Democrat. End of story. End of story. So if you are okay with Hillary Clinton's militarism, ties to Wall Street, FBI criminal investigation where there is evidence of a crime, where a crime was committed, but she was too stupid because she didn't intentionally commit that crime, where she called black youth super predators, where all of those things that she's done in the past, voting for the Iraq war, being advised by neoconservatives, if that's okay for you, as long as she's a pro-choice or as long as she is better than Trump from a progressive viewpoint, if that's okay with you, then yeah, you want everyone to go and make the responsible choice. But there's something called U.S. history, the United States of America. We're going to last more than 4 years or 8 years. There's going to be another Republican, even if there's 30, 40 years of a Democrat after Trump's first term. You're never going to have you're never going to continually have a Democrat in office. So the notion that you just have to fall in line, right, and make the responsible choice. The responsible choice for millions of people was not voting for Hillary Clinton and ensuring the Democratic Party moves further to the left. What Bill Maher, what Keith Olbermann, what Joanne Reed, what Joan Walsh, what all of these people don't understand is that they would not vote for a pro-life Democrat. That's their cutoff. Well, my cutoff is a neocon Democrat. That's what the writers of The Nation and the Slate and the Daily Beast don't understand. That's what the CNN and Washington Post writers who can't possibly fathom Seth Rich being a WikiLeaks source or Dotcom coming out with hard evidence that he's a WikiLeaks source. They can't fathom that people would actually draw a line that isn't, well, I'm not voting for a pro-life Democrat, but I'll vote for a neocon, Wall Street, everything. But if she doesn't gut the EPA, okay, she can go ahead and invade other countries, but fine, you know what, she's just better than Trump. People are not going to play that game, Bill Maher. It's so simple. Your argument is easily destroyed. Which your version of a responsible choice is the Young Turks, Justice Democrats move slowly at a snail's pace, and golly gee, Pence is better. And then you had the Atlantic editor, Pence is better. What fucking world are you living in? He's not getting impeached. Where is the evidence? It's May 22nd. The guy's not getting impeached. If anything, is going 8 years because of people like Bill Maher, because of people like the editor of The Atlantic, because of people who simply say, well, it's the voters that have to go ahead and side with the Democratic establishment. The Democratic Party is about, I would say maybe a couple weeks from being completely obliterated by a revelation that Seth Rich is actually a WikiLeaks source. If we have the evidence from Kim.com and go to Kim.com, Kim.com, tonight, definitely tomorrow morning. It's May 22nd, May 23rd, Kim.com will give you the news. But what Bill Maher doesn't get, and it's just so easily, no one voted for Trump or nobody refrained from voting for Clinton because they thought Trump was a good progressive. That's what these people don't get. It's so simple to understand. Nation, Slate, Daily Beast, TPM. Nobody said that Trump would be a better Democrat than Hillary. What they said was they're not going to, the cutoff was a neocon, corporatist, everything that she stands for. They're not going to vote for that anymore. Even if the other choice is, horrendous, end of the world. And even if you don't believe me, that's the reality. So you can go ahead in your little echo chamber. Bill Maher had a great, for years, has had a great segment on the Republican echo chamber. You can go ahead and say, God, people are stupid. People have to change. You have to change. You have to go ahead and make the responsible choice. But people aren't. They're not going to. And even if they lose their health care, even if they're not going to. So it's incumbent upon the Democratic National Committee that cheated Bernie Sanders, that took hundreds of millions of dollars from Bernie voters, to change. And if they can't change on their own, they won't, then the DNC lawsuit needs to force them to change, that Jared and Elizabeth Beck. If anyone at Bill Maher is watching, get Jared and Elizabeth Beck on your show. You want to take a stand up against go up against the DNC, because you're swimming upstream. No one is going to do the same things again that led to a Trump president, or I should say, you are running the same playbook that led to a Trump presidency. It doesn't work. Simply saying Trump is worse does not work. No one cares anymore. They're tired of the Russia. They're tired of the lies. They're tired of when Hillary does it, or when Democrat, it's a public and private face. When Trump, it's a lie. If the choice is a neocon Democrat and a hawkish Republican, they'll take the hawkish Republican because they don't want to vote. Just like you wouldn't vote for a pro-life Democrat, they'll either not vote for a neocon Democrat who cheats Bernie Sanders when you could have had Bernie, or they'll vote for Trump at a protest because the Democratic Party is despised. That's another thing Bill Maher doesn't get. People despise the Democratic Party. Progressives hate the Democratic Party. A lot of progressives, a lot of liberals, mainly independents. The poll numbers talking about Trump and his favorability ratings, the Democrats are right there. The Democratic Party's right there. I think even worse. And this is a final point. Bill Maher doesn't seem to get that Hillary still loses. See, the Bill Maher paradigm hasn't permeated throughout the independent vote or the swing states. She still loses the election. This is about a month and a half, 2 months back on the Washington Post. So you're not going to get Trump impeached from Trump Russia because there's no evidence. They're bluffing. The NSA is moderately confident for a reason. Kim.com comes out with the information and the evidence saying that Seth Rich was the leaker. There is no DNC hack. There is no Russia hacked the DNC to get Trump because they had such a hard time with 20% of U.S. uranium under Obama and Hillary. So to wrap it up, very simple. You easily destroy Bill Maher's argument with Bill Maher would never vote for a pro-life Democrat. Well, that's his cutoff. My cutoff, your cutoff, is a neocon Democrat, a corporatist Democrat. Dr. Cornel West's cutoff is a Democrat like Hillary Clinton. He's not voting for. The responsible move for a person like Bill Maher is to ensure that Democrats and the Democratic National Committee speak to people like Dr. Cornel West, not speak to people like Joy-Ann Reid, not speak to people like Keith Olbermann, because those people will always vote Democrat, even if you push for banning fracking, reinstating Glass-Steagall, all of these things that Bernie stood for, that Nina Turner stands for, that Tulsi Gabbard stands for. It's not incumbent upon the people who told you Hillary would lose to change. It's incumbent upon the people that told you Hillary has to win, she will win, and when they're proven wrong, they must change. It's incumbent upon you, Bill Maher, to change. Not me, not Tim Black, not Dr. Cornel West, not people who voted Green. We're never changing. So if you fucking lose again in 2020, don't blame us again or Russia or whatever other country you're going to blame. Look in the mirror and say, my God, the Democratic brand sucks. People would actually rather have, out of spite, Trump than the responsible Democratic choice. Maybe the Democrats need to change. Maybe there has to be some kind of self-reflection where a complete paradigm shift takes place. And instead of the Bill Mahers blaming the voters, the Bill Mahers and Howard Deans and Michael Moores of the world say, okay, the DNC is a very corrupt organization, more so than the Republican Party. It's unique in its corruption. It actually did cheat its progressive candidate, whereas the Republicans, they succumbed. They either allowed or Trump defeated them. And let's go ahead and make sure that the most progressive, most liberal candidate wins. Because that actually, if the country is ready for that, the 90s are over. So give me your thoughts below. Bill Maher's argument in the recent real time is so easily dismantled. And it's the same neoliberal argument. They wouldn't vote for a pro-life Democrat. We're not voting for a neocon Democrat. Very simple. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.